The Kingdom of My Divine Will in the Midst of Creatures. Book of Heaven, Volume 34, Part 14. May 28th, 1937. The Queen, Bearer of Jesus. The great gift that was delivered to her. Task that she received from the Supreme Being. The living in the divine will continues. Its love is so great that it hides me inside of its light, that I may see, feel, or touch nothing but its most holy will. Even more, this morning, my celestial mother gave me a dear and sweet surprise. After I had received Holy Communion, she made herself seen in my interior, as she was as though harmonized with baby Jesus, holding him tightly to her maternal heart, keeping him covered with her arms. So much so that in order for me to look at him and cheer him with my little love, I had to abandon myself in her arms, so that I too could remain harmonized with them, and love like Jesus and the Queen Mamma loved each other. Oh, how happy they were that I wanted to live life together with them. Now, while I was there, clinging to them, the Sovereign Queen, all goodness and tenderness, told me, "My beloved daughter, you must know that I am the bearer of Jesus. This is a gift that the Supreme Being entrusted to me. And when he was certain that I possessed grace, love, and power, and the very divine will to keep him safe, defended, and loved, only then did he deliver the gift to me, that is, the eternal Word. As he incarnated himself in my womb, they told me, 'Daughter of ours, we give you the great gift of the life of the Sun God, that you may take ownership of him and give him to whomever you want. Be careful, though, to keep him protected. Never leave him alone, whomever you may give him to, so as to make up for them if they do not love him, and repair if they offend him. You shall make it so that nothing may be lacking to him of the decency, the sanctity, the purity that befit him. Be attentive. This is the greatest gift that we give you, and we give you the power to bilocate him as many times as you want, so that whoever wants it may receive this great gift and possess it. Now this son is mine. He is my gift, and because he is mine, I know his loving secrets, his yearnings, his longing, such that he reaches the point of crying, telling me with repeated sobs, "My mamma, give me to souls. I want souls." And I want what he wants. I can say that I sigh and cry together with him, because I want everyone to possess my son. But I must keep his life safe, the great gift that God entrusted to me. This is why, if he descends sacramentally into the hearts, I descend together with him for the security of my gift. I cannot leave him alone. Poor son of mine, if he did not have his mamma who descends together with him, how poorly they treat him. Some don't even say to him, and I love you from the heart, and I must love him. Some receive him in a distracted way, without thinking of the great gift they are receiving, and I pour myself upon him so as not to let him feel their distractedness and coldness. Some reach the point of making him cry, and I must calm his crying, and give sweet reproaches to the creature that she would not make him cry. How many touching scenes take place in the hearts that receive him sacramentally! There are souls who are never satiated with loving him, and I give them my love, and even his own love, to let them love him. These are scenes of heaven, and the very angels remain enraptured, and we feel restored from the pains that other creatures have given us. But who can tell you everything? I am the bearer of Jesus, nor does he want to go without me. So much so that when the priest is about to pronounce the words of the consecration over the Holy Host, I make wings with my maternal hands, that he may descend in between my hands to be consecrated, so that if unworthy hands touch him, I let him feel my own that defend him and cover him with my love. But this is not enough. I am always on guard to see if they want my son, so much so that if a sinner repents of his grave sins, and the light of grace dawns in his heart, immediately I bring him Jesus as confirmation of the forgiveness, and I take care of everything that is needed to make him stay inside that converted heart. I am the bearer of Jesus, and I am so because I possess in me the kingdom of his divine will. The divine will reveals to me who it is that wants him, and I run, I fly to bring him, but without ever leaving him. And not only am I the bearer, but the spectator and listener of what he does and says to souls. Do you think that I was not present, listening to the many lessons that my dear son gave you on his divine will? I was present. I listened, word by word, to what he was telling you, and in each word I thanked my son, and I felt glorified twice as much, for he was speaking of the kingdom which I already possessed, which had been all my fortune, and the cause for the great gift of my son. And in seeing him speak, I could see the fortune of my children grafted with mine. Oh, how I rejoiced! All the lessons he gave you, and even more, are already written inside my heart, and in seeing them being repeated to you, in each lesson I enjoyed one more paradise. And each time you were not attentive and would forget them, I asked forgiveness for you, and I prayed him to repeat his lessons. And he, to make me content, because he is unable to deny anything to his mamma, would repeat to you his beautiful lessons. My daughter, I am always with Jesus, but sometimes I hide within him, and it seems that he does everything as if he did it without me, while I am inside of him. I concur with him, and I am aware of what he is doing. Other times he hides within his mamma and lets me operate. But he is always concurring along. Other times both of us reveal ourselves together, and the souls see the mother and the son, who love them so much, according to the circumstances and the good needed for them. And many times it is the love that we cannot contain that makes us reach excesses toward them. But be sure that if my son is there, there I am as well, and that if I am there, there is my son. This is a task that was given to me by the Supreme Being, from which I cannot, nor do I want to withdraw. More so, since these are the joys of my maternity, the fruits of my sorrow, the glory of the kingdom which I possess, the will and the fulfillment of the sacrosanct Trinity. Fiat. June 6, 1937. Interest that God has for the creature to live in his will. Dowry that he will give. The century of Jesus to make up for what the creature lacks. And if needed, he will even make miracles. Example of a king. I feel I am in the arms of the divine volition, and I thought to myself, it seems difficult to me that one could live perfectly in it. Life is full of obstacles, of pains, and circumstances, such that the creature remains as though absorbed by them, and she escapes her rapid course in the divine fiat, which should flow like the breathing and the beating of the heart, just as it flows constantly within us, like breath and heartbeat, to give us life without ever stopping. And my sweet Jesus, compassionating my ignorance, all goodness told me, my blessed daughter, you must know that the first thing, most interesting, is that our Supreme Being wants the creature to live life in our will, this being the only purpose for which we gave her life. Now, when we want something, we give her all the means, the aids, the necessary things that are needed, so that she may give us what we want from her. And if a continuous miracle on our part is needed, we make it, as long as we obtain our intent. You do not know what an act wanted by us and fulfilled in the creature means. Its value, the glory it gives us, is so great as to reach the extent of forming our crown, embracing the eternal. And the contentment it gives us is such that we place our divine being at the creature's disposal, so that our wanted and fulfilled act may have its life in her. Now, the first dowry we give to one who wants to live in our divine will, the first support, the sure defense, are the truths. The truths open the gate. They pave the way for her. And jealous, they place themselves as faithful sentries around the one who wants to live in my fiat. The light of our truths concerning my fiat no longer moves from upon the fortunate creature. It invests her, caresses her, molds her, kisses her, and gives itself sip by sip to her intelligence in order to let itself be comprehended, and this as the cortege of the life of my will that reigns in her. When they are unleashed from our bosom, the truths carry with them the task of the good that they must do, the souls that they must enclose into the light they possess, and therefore they are all eyes upon them. They fix on them so intently that they cannot escape them, nor do they become tired. Even if centuries should pass, they remain always at their post. See, then, what great dowry I will give to one who must live in our eternal volition. All the knowledges I have manifested about it, the immense value of it, its qualities, its love, and the love that compelled me to manifest them. This will be the great dowry and divine dowry I will give to those who will want to live in my fiat, in which they will find all the aids, superabundant, in order to become rich and happy. In these truths they will find the tender mother, who, taking them onto her lap like little children, swaddles them with light, feeds them the food, and makes them sleep upon her breast. In order to keep them safe, she walks in their steps, works in their hands, speaks in their voice, loves and palpitates in their hearts. And in order to keep them attentive and amused, she acts as their teacher, narrating to them the most enchanting scenes of the celestial fatherland. In these truths they will find she who cries and suffers together with them, and who knows how to put to good use even their breath. The littlest things, even their trifles, she will change into divine conquests and eternal values. And my Jesus, you are right, but the human weakness is great, and I am afraid it may make its little escapes from inside your will. And Jesus, resuming his speech, added, My daughter, your concern sorrows me. You must know that my interest and the love that burns me, for I want the soul to live in my will, is so great that I myself take on the commitment of everything. I make up for her in everything. However, I do this when there has been a firm and constant decision of wanting to live in it, and on her part she is not at fault and does as much as she can. Listen to a secret of mine, my daughter, and where my love makes me reach. Listen to what I do. When, out of strict necessity of the human life, this life, which is also mine, due to pains that I myself dispose, causes the creature to remain as though dazed and dismayed, and therefore she is unable to follow the acts of the life that reigns in her. I, who want this life not to be broken, because it is life indeed, not virtues which can be practiced at intervals and circumstances, but with life there is the whole necessity for a continuous act. I, who keep guard and maintain my jealous sentry, as soon as I see that she interrupts her course, I myself do what she should be doing. Then my operating in my fiat stirs her, and she comes back to herself and continues her course in my volition. And I, without even telling her anything about her stop, I bind it from where she left and where my act followed, so that the life of my fiat may not remain broken in her, because I myself have made up for everything. More so, since in her will she wanted, but her weakness interrupted it. Here then, my love for creatures to live in my will is so great, that at any cost, even if it should take continuous miracles, I will make them. But have you noticed my tenderness, my strong love? After she has failed to follow her course, I do not scold her. I don't say anything to her. And if I see that she realizes her falling short, I encourage her. I compassionate her so that she may not lose confidence. And all goodness I say to her, do not fear. I myself have made up for you. And you will be more attentive, won't you? And she, in seeing my goodness, loves me more. I know that I must give of my own, so that the creature may live in my will. This is why I will act like a king who greatly desires for his kingdom to be populated. He lets the whole world know that if anyone wants to come into his kingdom, he wants to know it, so that he can send them money for the trip, and will let them find a home at their disposal, as well as clothing and abundant food. The king commits to giving them such riches as to make them rich and happy. And the goodness of this king will be so great that he will conduct his life together with his people, who loves him so much, for he has ransomed them with his riches from the miseries and unhappinesses of life. So I am. I will let the entire world know that I want the people of my divine will, and as long as they give me their names, and make known to me that they want to come into my kingdom, I will give them all goods. In it, unhappinesses will have no place. Each one shall possess his kingdom, shall be king of himself, and all shall live together with their Creator. I will make such great display in giving that all shall remain captivated. My daughter, oh, how I long for this living of the creature in my will. And you, pray and long for it together with me. And may it be sweet for you to lay down your life for a kingdom so holy. Fiat. June 18th, 1937. What one obtains, and what it means to submit oneself to the divine will. Exchange of abandonments between the divine will and the soul. Merit that she acquires. Outpouring of love. How, in each created thing, there is the deposit of love for us. I was following the divine volition in its acts. And oh, how many surprises, how many consoling things! One feels so much love as to remain drowned within the divine flames. And my sweet Jesus, wanting to let me know better what one submission, one more act in the divine will means, all goodness told me, my daughter, if you knew how my love feels an extreme need to pour itself out, and make known what it pours into the creature when she submits to my will, and comes as our daughter to live in it, as she submits, and we see her within our divine boundaries, which are interminable, we feel captivated, and we pour into her a new sea of love, but so great that she feels drowned, and unable to contain it all, she makes it a gift to all created things, to the saints, to the angels, to her very Creator, and even to the hearts on earth who are more disposed, the gift of the sea of love that she has received. We feel ourselves being given to all, to make all love us. What traffic, what loving industries! We feel our surprises of love being repeated, our divine modes exchanged. As soon as the creature submits to our will to let it reign, she forms for us the place within her own, to let us operate as God inside her tiny little field. And the prodigies we make, our industries of love, are such and so many that the heavens lower themselves. They are shaken and astounded. Admire what we do in the creature, in whom reigns our divine Fiat. You must know that our creation did not end with man, because it was interrupted by his withdrawing from our will. Since it was not reigning in him, we could not trust him, and therefore the continuation of our creative work remained as though suspended. This is why we anxiously await his return into the arms of our Fiat, that he may let it reign. Then we will resume the continuation of creation, and oh, how many beautiful things we will do! We will give surprising gifts. Our wisdom will put out all of its divine art. And oh, how many beautiful images that resemble us will it issue from its divine light! All beautiful, but distinct, one from the other, in sanctity, in power, in beauty, in love, in the gifts. Our love shall no longer be hindered. Finding our will, it will be able to do and give whatever it wants, and therefore it will make such great display in giving, to be repaid of its constrained love. And since we will be free in giving, we will call them our temples. We will make known to them who we are, how much we love them, and how they must love us. We will place our love at their disposal, that we may love one another with one single love. So one who lives in our will be our triumph, our victory, our divine army, the continuation of our creation and the fulfillment of it. Do you think that wanting to give and being unable to give is nothing for us? being able to create innumerable prodigies of graces, of sanctity, but because our will does not reign in the souls, we are as though rejected and prevented from creating our most beautiful works. This is the highest of our sorrows. Therefore, by never doing your will, you will be able to soothe this sorrow of ours, and in this way captivate our Fiat, to make it reign in the midst of the human generations. Afterwards, I continued to think about the divine will, and was saying to myself, is it not enough to give oneself prey to the divine Fiat just once? What can be the good of giving oneself always? And my lovable Jesus added, my blessed daughter, you do not know the secrets of our love and our infinite stratagems that reach unto the excess. One must truly love to be able to find many devices of love by which to give oneself and receive from the beloved. You must know that each time the creature gives herself to us, prey to our volition, we give ourselves to her, as though abandoning ourselves in the bosom of the creature. And if you knew what this abandoning of ourselves means, the grace, the good that we leave to her, the renewing of our life that we repeat for her, your heart would explode with joy, with happiness, and with love. But this is nothing. Each time she gives herself to us, we give her the merit that she has given us her life. And if she gives herself 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times, and even more, so many times do we give her the merit, as if she had given us so many lives, for as many times as she has given herself to us. And we give her our life. We renew her in it. We repeat the good for her, or rather, we increase it, for as many times as she has given herself to us. Our satisfaction, the delight that we experience when the creature gives herself to us, is so great that we abound so much toward her as to give her the merit of possessing as many divine lives. And by locating her life, we give her the merit of so many lives for as many times as she has given herself. This is our divine commerce. We want in order to give ourselves. We give ourselves in order to receive the life of the creature into our supreme being. This exchange of lives maintains the conversation. We make ourselves known for who we are. We let her feel the ardent heartbeats, the love that consumes us, how we love her, and how we want to be loved. And besides, if she did not feel the need to give herself constantly to us, it is a sign that she does not love us, and her heart is not in possession of our irresistible love. This is the sign of true love, wanting to give oneself always, almost at each instant, to the beloved. But while the creature gives herself, the power of love imposes itself, for it wants to receive. And if it did not receive, it would feel suffocated, and would burst into cries of sorrows, as to deafen heaven and earth. This is why, in order not to reach such pangs of sorrow, my love awaits the creature's giving herself to me, and immediately I give myself to her, with all the infinity of our will. Later, I was continuing my round in creation, and oh, how many beautiful surprises! Each created thing was telling me how much God loved me. Each of them possessed a space that contained a deposit of love that was to tell me always, He loves you. Your Creator loves you. I remained surprised, and my sweet Jesus, coming back, continued, My daughter, you know that creation was an outpouring of our love, and as we issued the creation to the light of day, we kept everyone present. Not a single creature escaped us, and we placed for each of them, in each created thing, a deposit of love that was to love her, and always say to her, He loves you. Your Creator loves you. So, if the created things run in order to give to creatures the good that they possess, it is our love that makes them run. If the heavens extend above everyone's head, it is our deposit of love that gives them the right. If the sun gives its light to all, that is the inheritance of love that each one holds in the Son of their Creator. If the earth is stable under her steps, it is our deposit of love that makes Mother Earth take the creature as though onto its lap, and securing her step, makes it say to her, under her feet, He loves you. He who created you loves you. If water quenches your thirst, it is our cry of love that runs in the water and quenches your thirst, washes you, gives sap to the plants, and the so many other benefits it produces. If the fire does not burn you, it is our deposit of love, which is the property of creatures, that cries out, Warm our daughter, do no harm to her. And so with all other things. Now, I want to tell you something consoling. If the creature enters into the created things, recognizes this, our deposit of love in each of them, and makes her love resound within ours, she prepares a banquet for her Creator. Look at how much diversity of foods of love you can prepare for us, even just in the sun. In that light, there is the sweetness of our love. And you, by loving us, at the touch of our love, sweeten your own love, and give us the food of the love that sweetens us. In that light, there are the flavors of our love. And you, by loving us, give us the joys of the many flavors of our love. In that light, there is our fecund love, the love that wounds, burns, and consumes. And you, by loving us, will acquire into your love the divine fecundity, the virtue of wounding us, and of burning and being consumed for us. There is also the variety of colors that embellishes everything, and you, by loving us, will acquire the virtue of the beautiful love, in which you will remain as though wrapped with an enchanting beauty. Know how enraptured we will feel. Daughter, if I wanted to tell you the multiplicity and diversity of love that we have placed in each created thing for each creature, and how she has the duty to know this multiple love of ours, in order to find the model by which to love us with many distinct loves as we have loved her, I would never end. But alas, our love remains isolated, without the company of the love of the creature. And this a sorrow for us, that our love is not recognized in each created thing, while all of them have the mandate from us to love her with a distinct love. In the wind runs the blowing of our kisses, the waves of our loving caresses, the moans of our suffocated love. In the might of the wind runs our ruling love, that wants to make itself known in order to rule over all. And at times it reaches the point of nearly speaking, almost with deafening screams, so that the creature may hear nothing but our love that loves her. Oh, if the creature recognized our love that runs in the wind, she would return our kisses and our caresses with hers. After all, why do we kiss her and caress her? Because we want to be kissed and caressed by her. She would moan together with our love, so as not to let us suffocate. She would love us with our ruling love and hers. And screaming together with our love, she would deafen all by saying, "Let us love! Let us love he who so much loves." Even in the air that all breathe, how much love does not run! But no, not at intervals like in the other created things. Rather, in each instant, in each breath. If she sleeps, if she works, if she walks, if she eats, our love runs always, but with a love that is distinct and new compared to all other created things. In the air runs our love that gives life with an enchanting rapidity, such that no one can resist it. It runs in the heart, in the blood, in the bones, in the nerves, in everything, and constitutes itself vital act of the human being, tacitly saying to him, "I bring you the continuous love of your Creator, and because it is continuous, I can give you life." Oh, if she would recognize us in the air that she breathes, the act of life we have placed in it, the ardor of our love that runs always without ever stopping, she would give us her life in exchange, in order to love us, to narrate to us our love story, and repeat our little refrain, "I love you. I love you always, in everything and in each thing, just as you have loved me." From the greatest thing to the littlest, there is a love of ours, new and distinct, for the creatures. And because they do not know it, they do not requite us. Or rather, with highest ingratitude, they return our love with offenses. This is why we await our will to be known and dominating in the midst of the human generations, because it will make itself the revealer of our love. Then will we be repaid, and we will love each other with one single love. How happy we will be! And in seeing ourselves loved, we will add more new and distinct loves. In this way, our love will no longer be constrained, but will have its outpouring of love and of being loved in return. Therefore, pray that our kingdom may come, and you recognize our love. And if you want love, love us. If we do not find our love in the creature, we don't know what to give her, nor what to do with her, because the prop is missing on which to lean our graces, and the first element that forms our life in her. Fiat. You have reached the end of the Book of Heaven, Volume 34, Part 14. Fiat.